Manchester United are winning again.
Šeško inside the area. Šeško!
And honestly, nobody saw this coming. After one of their worst ever starts to a season, after Ruben Amorim got sacked, after the entire fan base was calling for Ineos to sell the club, Michael Carrick walks in, changes basically nothing complicated, and suddenly United look like a completely different team. They've beaten Man City 2-0. They silenced the Emirates with a 3-2 comeback win over Arsenal. They scored a 94th minute winner against Fulham, 3 wins in 3 games, and the craziest part, Carrick hasn't really done anything revolutionary. So what's actually changed? How did United go from a disaster to this? And more importantly, can it actually last? By the way, we recently did a similar breakdown on how Chelsea transformed their season in 2026. If you haven't seen that yet, check it out after this video. And if you're enjoying the content, make sure you're subscribed, because the Premier League this season is absolute chaos and we're covering all of it.
That was the deal. That is my job, not to be a coach.
Let's be real, the start of the 2025-26 season for Manchester United was a complete nightmare. We're talking genuinely one of the worst runs in the club's history. By early February, United had won just 6 out of their first 23 Premier League matches. 6! They were sitting in 13th place, closer to the relegation zone than to European qualification. This wasn't just bad, this was crisis mode. The defeats were coming from everywhere. Even teams like Bournemouth and Brentford were taking points off them like it was nothing. And it wasn't just the results, it was how they were losing. United looked completely lost on the pitch. No structure, no confidence, no identity. Players who should be performing at the highest level were making basic mistakes week after week. Ruben Amorim, who'd come in with so much promise, was drowning. His 3-4-3 system wasn't working. Actually, let me rephrase that. It was a disaster. He kept rotating between a 3-4-3 and a 3-4-2-1, sometimes even switching mid-game, and the players just looked confused. Bruno Fernandes, one of the best players in world football, was being played in a double pivot. Kobbie Mainoo, a natural central midfielder, was being shoved into positions where he couldn't impact the game. The fullbacks were tucked in so deep they might as well have been centre-backs. And up front, nobody knew what their role was supposed to be. Amorim kept saying the same things in press conferences. We need time. The players must adapt to my system. This is a process.
We need to be so good in this way of playing, then we are going to adapt. I'm going to change a lot of things.
But here's the thing, the fans could see it wasn't working. The pundits could see it wasn't working. The final straw came after a home loss to Aston Villa. The fans were booing. The players looked defeated. And Ineos had seen enough. On January 5th, 2026, Ruben Amorim was sacked after just 14 months in charge. And honestly, most people agreed it was the right decision. The guy had talent in that squad, but he was getting the absolute worst out of them. So Ineos needed someone to take over immediately, and they didn't have to look far. Michael Carrick was available, the former United midfielder, the guy who won everything under Sir Alex Ferguson, who'd done brilliant work at Middlesbrough in the Championship, a club legend who understood what United was supposed to be. It made sense, not as a long-term appointment necessarily. Carrick came in as interim manager while the club searched for a permanent solution, but someone who could stabilise things, lift the mood and just get the team playing football again. And you know what's funny? Carrick's first press conference was the complete opposite of Amorim's. No grand tactics, no philosophical lectures, just simple stuff. He said, I've told the players to enjoy it. We're playing for Manchester United. You're playing at Old Trafford. That should excite you. That was it. Just enjoy playing football. After months of complicated instructions and tactical overload, that message must have felt like a breath of fresh air. Carrick's first match in charge, Manchester City at Old Trafford. Pep Guardiola's City, who despite their own struggles this season, were still City. A team that dominates possession, suffocates opponents and makes you look silly if you're not organised. and United went out there and won 2-0 comfortably. They didn't fluke it. They didn't park the bus and hope for the best. They played proper football, defending as a unit, breaking quickly, creating genuine chances. It was the best United had looked in months.
We knew today was going to be a really tough game, and getting questions all week about breaking down a low block and beating teams that you should beat, and that was never the case today. Fulham are a really good team.
Then came Arsenal away. Arsenal, who were in the title race, who hadn't lost at the Emirates in years. United went 1-0 down early, but they didn't collapse. They stayed calm, fought back and won 3-2. Patrick Dorgu scored an absolute screamer to put them ahead. And then Fulham at Old Trafford. United were cruising at 2-0. Fulham fought back to make it 2-2 in the 91st minute. Old Trafford went silent. Under the previous managers, that would have been it. Drop points, heads down, same old United, but not under Carrick. 3 minutes later, Benjamin Šeško smashed home a winner in the 94th minute. The place went absolutely mental. Players were celebrating like they'd won the league. Michael Carrick had done in 3 matches what Amorim couldn't do in months. He made United believe again. So here's the big question. What did Carrick actually do differently? Because on the surface, it doesn't look that complicated. And honestly, that's exactly the point. First things first, the formation. Carrick ditched the back three immediately and went back to a 4-2-3-1. A formation that United players actually understand. A formation that's been part of this club's DNA for decades. 2 centre-backs, 2 full-backs, 2 defensive midfielders sitting in front of them, a number 10 and 3 attackers. Simple, clear, everyone knows their job, and suddenly players started looking comfortable again. Bruno Fernandes was back in his natural role where he's world class. Kobbie Mainoo was playing as a proper central midfielder alongside Casemiro, doing what he does best, covering ground, he's progressing the ball, being available. The fullbacks, Dalot and whoever plays left back, were actually playing as fullbacks, not tucking in like auxiliary centre backs. They could push forward, provide width, support attacks. And up front, players finally had space to run into because the midfield was actually supporting them. Carrick also changed the defensive approach completely. Under Amorim, United were trying to press high, but they were terrible at it. The distances between players were all wrong. Opponents would just pass around them, and suddenly United's defence was exposed. Carrick simplified it. Defend as a unit, stay compact, don't dive into challenges. It's zonal defending, proper team shape. And it's working. United aren't conceding stupid goals anymore because everyone knows where they're supposed to be. Even in possession, it's simpler now. Carrick isn't asking players to remember 5 different passing patterns or positional rotations. He's just saying, keep the ball, look for the forwards. If the pass isn't on, don't force it. Against City, you could see it perfectly. United let City have possession in areas where it didn't hurt them. But the moment City pushed too high, United broke with pace. Against Arsenal, same thing. Arsenal dominated the ball, but United stayed compact, waited for their moments, and when those moments came, Dorgu's goal, the late winner, they took them. Now here's what's really interesting. Carrick himself barely talks about tactics in his press conferences. Go back and watch them. He doesn't mention pressing triggers, overloads or positional superiority. He talks about belief, about trusting each other, about enjoying the game. After the Arsenal win, he said, "We stayed calm, we believed in ourselves, the lads trusted each other and kept going." After the Fulham win, the game changes, moments change, but the players understood that. They kept playing. For a modern Premier League manager, that language is almost old-fashioned. There's no jargon, no complicated tactical analysis, just football. And you know what? The players are responding to it. Harry Maguire said in an interview that training under Carrick is clearer, shorter sessions, but more intense, more purposeful, less time spent in meetings talking about tactics, more time actually playing. The atmosphere has apparently completely changed. Players are smiling again. They're enjoying coming to training. And that stuff matters. It genuinely does. Now, before we get too excited, let's talk about reality. 4 wins don't fix everything. The real question is whether this is sustainable or just another false dawn, because we've seen this before at United, right? The biggest test for Carrick is what happens when United face teams that sit deep. Beating City and Arsenal on the counter is one thing. Those teams come at you, leave space. But what about when United have to break down a low block? That's been their problem for years. And there's the Casemiro situation. The guy's been brilliant, like scoring, assisting, dominating. But he's 34, leaving at the end of the season. And when he came off against Fulham, you could see the difference immediately. How do you replace that? But here's why it might actually work. Carrick has restored something that's been missing for years: identity. United finally know what they are. They can defend together, stay compact and strike with pace when the moment comes. It's not revolutionary, but it makes sense. And crucially, the players believe in it. You saw it against Fulham when they conceded in the 91st minute under previous managers. United would have collapsed. Instead, they scored a winner 3 minutes later. That's not tactics, that's mentality. And don't forget, the Premier League is chaos this season. City are struggling, Arsenal are inconsistent, Liverpool aren't unstoppable. There's no dominant team, which means if United can build momentum, who knows how far they go. The question isn't whether Carrick's done well, he clearly has. The question is whether he can maintain it, solve the problems that are coming and turn this into something real. So here's where we're at. Manchester United look completely different. The tactics are simple but effective. The players look reborn and the fans are believing again. But the real tests are still coming. Can Carrick maintain this form? Can he break down teams that sit deep? Is this the real United or just a temporary bounce that will fade away? Because remember, this is the Premier League, the most competitive league in world football. Every single week is a battle and nothing is guaranteed. So here's my question for you. Where do United finish this season? Can they challenge for top 4? Or will this momentum disappear the moment they face real adversity? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to know what you think happens next. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button. We're covering all the madness this season brings. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.